Hey, fifth grade, ready for your art lesson with your friendly neighborhood art teacher? We have begun looking at emotions in art. The first week we studied real, raw emotions that were depicted in artwork, and we started talking about art and emotions. Last week we really focused on working with Romero Brito, and we started looking at how he draws his people. This week we're going to be talking about the patterns and the style of lines that he uses. So, a recap, in case you have not caught up as to who he is, this is Romero Brito. He is a Brazilian-American artist who is still alive and is still making artwork. He is known for his very bright and colorful art that has a lot of love and happiness and just hope to it. And that's one of the things that we're going to focus on. Last week we looked at how he draws his people and we practiced it a little bit. This week, we're going to be looking at patterns and the styles of lines that he uses. So these are two very good examples for the patterns. You can see, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, well, 10 if you count the solid ones, 10 different patterns alone in just this picture. And let's look at his lines too. He doesn't have any straight lines. It's straight, but it's not like with a ruler. It's just kind of straight. And if you see over here, he has lines that go from thick to thin, all in one spot. So his lines and our lines aren't going to be perfectly even. He's got a lot of curved lines, a lot. In fact, this is a great example of what I mean by his artwork. First, you look for the main shape, and even this, look, this part of this line is thin compared to up here where it's much thicker, and it gets thinner and then it gets thicker again and then it goes back to being thinner. This gives his artwork a very flowing feel. Kind of makes you feel like it's not going to stay in one spot. It's not hard like a rock. It's more like a stream that moves and is smooth. I also want you to see that even though it looks like he's got straight kind of lines, they're not really super straight. I think even this guy that goes up through the circle is still a little tilted to the side. And this is also a really great way to look for his patterns. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not counting some of these polka dots because they are kind of the same, but he's got at least 7 different types, and the stripes I know are kind of similar too. Now, let me stop for a moment. I don't mind if you use 2 of the same kinds of patterns as long as the colors are different. Let's take a look at his artwork again. These are blue and white stripes. These are dark blue and light blue stripes. These are blue and white stripes, but they're not the same blue as this one. Then we've got this blue and white does match this one, but there's only a little bit of that one. Then we've got blue and pink, and then we've got light blue and dark blue again. And we've got purple and pink ones, and we've got orange and yellow ones. He's got all different kinds. And look at the polka dots. You've got pink polka dots on red. Then we've got light blue polka dots on dark blue, and dark green on light green. So all of these have different kinds. What I'm going to have you do this week is practice some patterns like he's done. Let's take a look at my document camera. You're going to need a regular sheet of paper. It can be a copy paper. It can be a regular notebook paper. Whatever will help you with it, that's fine. You're going to fold it into 8 boxes. So, let me get this out of the way. You can see I took my paper long ways and I folded it up. Got it? Then I'm going to fold it in half. Make sure that this edge touches that edge down here. And I'm going to press down with my finger, and then I'm going to do that one more time. So I'm going to go that way. And then when I open up my paper, not my box, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different boxes. You're going to be doing 8 versions of his art, or 8 patterns on his artwork. Let me back up for just a moment. So, in case you need to see this kind of picture in a better light, you will fold your paper into 8 sections. In each section, draw a different kind of pattern that you've seen from Romero Britto's art. If you repeat a pattern, you cannot use the same kind of colors. And you cannot repeat a pattern more than 2 times. You cannot repeat a pattern more than 2 times. You cannot repeat a pattern. It's kind of fun. It's like a tongue twister. So let's look back at what I'm talking about. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to, just right now, I'm going to close this. And I'm going to fold that one in half. Now I see right now I've got 2. So I'm going to do, oops, yeah, go back. I'm going to do stripes. Pretty easy. Then on this side, I'm going to do circles. Now here's one of the things that's clever about Romero Britto. A lot of his are the same size. So I'm not doing tiny and big and little and tiny. Nope, I'm going to keep all of my circles, all of my polka dots, the same size. And they tend to go the same direction. It's okay if you don't get this perfect the first time. That's why we're practicing. So I'm going to keep going. I don't want my circles to get bigger or smaller. And not all of them stay on the page, and that's fine. So now look, I've done 2. I'm going to work on these 2, and I'm going to close that so I can look at it. Let's open up his artwork again, and let's look back at this big page that has lots of patterns. Oh, I see some things that I want to do. So I am going to, next, I'm going to work on one that looks kind of like this guy right here. And then I might work on something that looks like these down here. So go back to my camera, and I'm going to hold this one like this, and I'm going to go up, down, zig, zag, and then it's going to have to go up one more time. Then I'm going to keep doing that until I get to the edge of my paper, and I'm just going to keep doing that. So up, down, zig, zag, whoops. See what happens when you do something like that? You erase it. Have an eraser. That's what they're for. Ta-da! Perfect. So now I'm going to start this down here, and I'm going to make sure that I'm staying the same kind of distance away. I don't want to have like really big, that's too big. And I don't want to make super skinny. Those are that's too close together. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go down. Ta-da! Got one done. Now he's got this very interesting, kind of like these little, I like this one right here, and that's kind of easy because all I go is dupe, and a circle, dupe, circle, circle, line, 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 line. They're almost random. Well, they are random. Then he does, some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. Then he adds a circle, usually near one of those lines. So that one was an easy one, and that's okay. So look, I got the top row done. Now I'm going to make sure I'm on the same side. And I'm going to work on the bottom row. I don't want to have the same patterns underneath, but I am going to do some stripes again. But I want you to notice that my stripes are going a different direction than those. Different direction. And then for my polka dots, let's see, which one can I do? Oh, see, now I kind of like it. He's got some that are just big polka dots. And that's okay, because once again, if they stay kind of the same size, it ends up making a pattern. And then, so you will notice that there are, on occasion, a solid color. And then he's got these, I'm not sure what else to call them other than squiggles. He's got like these little curlicues that come through. So I'm going to, I'll let that one be my solid color, and you can do one too, or you can fill the whole thing up. He's got kind of this boop, and he has a little squiggle underneath it. It kind of looks like the pi symbol to me. And he does that again, and then he's got this little like loop, 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 and he's got a little dot, and he's got this doop, doo, a little dot, and he's got his little squiggle again, and a dot. So I'm trying to copy, let me show it to you again, whoops. I'm trying to copy like this one right here. It's not as easy. I could have gone for this guy up here, that's a lot easier, but I'm going to keep going with this little squiggly, kind of a, almost like a, also kind of looks like it could be a cursive letter. It has this long and he does, but he also has these perfect little dots with it, and it makes something very unique to his style. And now you can see I've drawn my 8 patterns. Now if you happen to have a Sharpie and you want to go back through yours, you can go back over and you can make some of these a little bit more dark. You can even try to do the thing like he does where he has one side of it get thicker than the other. So watch, I'm going to leave this part up here, and I'll make this part the part that gets thicker. The thing is with that is that you got to do it to all of them to make it a pattern. So if you have a Sharpie and you want to go back through and go over any of your lines, you can. You don't have to. I'm just saying. That's all for this week. We are not coloring this. Uh-oh, my Sharpie's running out. So we are not coloring them just this week. We are just working on the lines. All right? Don't forget you're going to need to take a picture of it and put it in your Google Doc on your assignment. Thank you, guys.